Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of The Non-Native Leader, my video podcast series where we explore stories, lives, challenges, and wins of global leaders who have one thing in common: they were not born in an English-speaking country. And I'm Daniele, I'm the host. And if you followed the previous episodes, you've seen we've spoken to NGO leaders, to leaders in fintech, IT, politics, academia, art. I like talking to a broad spectrum of people and in any industries really. And today I'm really happy to have with me Anas Riad, and I'm not revealing it. I'll let him tell you. So, Anas, you're very welcome here with me, and thank you very much for being my guest today. So, the usual question is really, who are you? What are you doing? What do you do?
Yeah, obviously the first question. First of all, thank you for having me here. It's an immense pleasure. Always happy to have a nice chat and discuss a few things. It's always good to be open and discuss any kind of topics, really. So as you mentioned, my name is Anas. I'm originally from Morocco. That's from where the name comes from. I'm multicultural. My mom is Russian, my dad is Moroccan, so it's a little bit of a weird mix, but we made it happen. 3 years ago, I moved to the UK. I wanted to switch my career from engineering, what I did before, into data analytics, which what I do now. And the bridge for me to get to where I wanted to seemed to be to move to the UK. And therefore, I had to learn the language, go through the process. But currently, I work as a data analyst online for a Swedish company based in the UK. Yeah, and this is a brief introduction of who I am. We can dive deeper into different topics.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you. And I love the way you've added an extra layer of cultural diversity by working for a Swedish company.
It's crazy.
Yeah, but these are the kind of stories I love because they show like how the world is interconnected and we're all like living in global. They call it a spaceship. That's a different story, but in a way I like it because borders, frontiers, it's I don't know, it's an obsolete concept. Again, that's my view. But anyway, it's interesting what you mentioned because you moved to the UK and you used a new job opportunity to fulfill your dream, which was again to move there. So, there must have been challenges there for you. And yeah,
Yeah.
I'd like to ask you about those really. So, main challenges for you in your international experience, Anas.
Mm. The first one is the language. As someone that lived his whole life in Morocco, I spoke Arabic and French that we speak in Morocco, Russian from my mom, but I've never had the English part. Apart from listening to Eminem music, like a little bit of here and there words,
Which is not the easiest.
Yeah, just to survive kind of vibe, English. So I had to learn English. I took on classes for 11 months. I had a one-on-one coach, English coach or professor, whatever you want to call him. He's brilliant. He lived in the UK and he taught me so much. We used to have 3 sessions per week. We used to have lots of fun. And that was the first step that gave me confidence that I could go and I could speak. The second one was I started to write content on LinkedIn and my own blog at the end of 2021, early 2022. So it all coincided together, started to read more, write more, speak more, and it gave me confidence. And I was I wanted to change my path. The engineering one wasn't very interesting. So I thought, okay, maybe I need a big move. And the UK was that big move for me. But the first roadblock I would say was the language because without it I couldn't do anything. I had to first be good at English and not just superficial talking English, but professional because I wanted to work in the UK as well. So I would say this was the first massive roadblock that I had to solve early on.
Wow, yes, and I'm sure it was not easy because you went straight for it. You went to the country and you went looking for the job you wanted to do. So you had to improve and you had to improve quickly, which is it's not easy. I'd say.
No, it's not. I mean, I studied English before coming to the UK, but even with all the lessons that I've had coming here, with all the accents and the nuance in words, and British speak a little bit differently from what you're taught in school, especially in Morocco. I think we follow more of an American system of English. So ha having to adapt to people the way they speak and them adapting to me the way I speak as well was a little bit of a challenge the first few months. I've heard so many, can you repeat this one, please? Or say it again? You know, I've heard it so many times. But
Oh
you get
yeah.
used to it over time.
But I guess we've all been through that. Whenever you move to a new country, you expect what you studied. So you have your textbooks with those nice pictures of smiling guys and girls, and then you go to the real country and things are slightly different. Yes, as you well said, you have accents, you have nuances. So absolutely. And do you find like, I mean, you're a multilingual, right? So you mentioned French, Arabic, of course, and Russian. Do you find that that helped you to adapt to yet another language?
Yeah, that's a topic we speak about me and my partner very often. And she says that because you already speak a few languages, you can pick up any other one very easily. And I kind of disagree with her. I told her if you spend the 11 months of studying that I did 3 times per week with all the notes that I took, with all the posts that I wrote on LinkedIn, you'd be fluent in Spanish, Italian, or whatever other language as well. So yes, you can say that my brain is used to having this disparity in vocabulary, which is true. For example, if you learn Spanish, since I know French, I can pick up words quicker. If I want to learn Croatian and I speak Russian, I can pick up a few words quicker. That's reality because the languages are similar. They come from a similar basis. But putting in the effort, everyone has to do it. And yes, I do agree in a sense that your brain is kind of used to more information, but you still have to put in the hours to learn and speak, especially speak.
Yes, yes. Speaking is important. I always tell people, look, if you want to improve your speaking, well, you have to speak. There's really no way around it.
Exactly, exactly. And it's daunting, you know. I remember when I had my first conversations externally, not with my professor, there is an application, it's called italki, and you pay people to just talk to them. That's the whole concept. And I booked 6 random calls with people all over the world just to speak to each one of them for 1 hour. And he showed me first that I was okay, and second, what I was lacking, so I could work on it. And a lot of people, they get so comfortable learning in one way and they avoid the one that is a little bit tricky, which is just to talk to random people. And therefore, you never really learn, or it takes you longer to learn a language if you avoid those challenging conversations.
Oh yes, absolutely. And that's the main thing. Go out there, put yourself out there and talk, you know. It's not easy. It's not easy. I can confirm from my own experience, it is not easy. But at the same time, it's really how you progress and how you learn. So yeah, I strongly recommend doing it. And doing it, yes. I mean, you did it in a very well structured way. So you booked calls and then you got to chat to people randomly, which is I don't know. It's an interesting approach, but
Yeah.
and it also shows that I mean you don't really need to live in the country because you can book random calls with people from the comforts of your own home. So
Yeah.
you go and if you're really serious about improving, that's what you can do. So yes.
Exactly. I have my younger sister. She's been learning Korean from home, and she managed to become, I wouldn't say very fluent, but she speaks and she understands within just 6 months. And
Wow.
that's all because of passion, because she loves it so much. She watches films and listens to music and learn lyrics of music. You know, that kind of
Wow.
young girl. And within 6 months, she went to Korea with my dad at some point, and she was talking or going to shops and ordering and doing. So it's just a matter
Yeah,
of like being really willing to. And if you're passionate, that's an additional bonus. You know, if you're passionate, to learn.
absolutely. And I can only imagine the joy when you go there and you're able to talk. It must be really empowering, you know. Yes, yes, that's great.
Very
And
satisfying.
Anas, you did another interesting thing there because obviously you studied, you talked to people, but then you also mentioned that you started posting on LinkedIn. and I suppose you started posting straight directly in English, which
Yes.
was an extra challenge that you gave yourself. So, in which way that helped you, really? I'd be interested in knowing.
Yeah, so in 2020 or 2021, I started to read a lot, especially self-help, self-development books, and most of them are mostly in English. You can still find them in French, but in libraries, usually you find them more in English than in any other language. So it forced me to start picking up a few English books because I really wanted to read. I was in a phase where I wanted to improve things in my life, the productivity, the habits, all these kind of topics. So I started to read. The thing is, I found it very difficult to understand everything. So I always had Google Translator on the side, and I was translating a lot of words. It was a little bit of a hassle at the beginning. I took three times as much to read a book than someone else. But after a few months, my brain started to pick up words, the repetition, the patterns, and I stopped using Google Translator. Even if I don't understand one or two words, but I understand the meaning of the sentences. And at some point, I read too many books, and I was thinking, how can I share this knowledge now? Because I've read a lot, and most of my friends weren't interested in talking to me about productivity or anything like this. So I thought, why don't I reach out to an audience externally that might be interested in what I'm talking about? So I created a blog. I created a basic website that I coded myself. I have knowledge in coding, so I was like, you create a website, you share some articles. I was just doing summaries and key takeaways from books that I liked. And one friend of mine afterwards told me, why don't you take these articles and put them on LinkedIn? They have an article feature on LinkedIn. And that's how I transitioned slowly into LinkedIn. And then I saw people posting. I started to learn copywriting and all this journey. But I started from reading first, and then just me wanting to share some key takeaways from those books. That's how it started.
And I suppose they gave you a double level of confidence. One, because you got out there and you started sharing, and the
Yeah.
second, because you got to meet a lot of like-minded people, which helps to build a community and it helps to feel part of something bigger in a way. Yeah, I
Yes.
mean, if I say something bigger, it sounds really profound and philosophical, but you know what I mean. It's 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 empowering again. It gives you confidence that you can speak and that people are willing to listen to you in a language that is not your native language, which is not easy. But I mean, you've just mentioned all these different ways to boost your confidence that in the
Yeah.
end, they just help you to get there faster, I believe. And I mean, today you have, yeah, you have your articles, you're good at copywriting, because I see a lot of people actually like, me included, like what you write and what you share. So it is, you're showing that it is possible, which is again, uh, fascinating in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, anyone can do anything. It's just a matter of putting in the work. When my girlfriend is learning French, and I always tell her the best way to learn anything is to immerse yourself into the topic. Have active learning. You listen to podcasts, watch films, like turn your whole life in French, and you'll see that you'll get results very quickly. You can even speak to me whenever you want. But this concept of immersion, it can be very tricky for people sometimes because it's difficult at the beginning. You don't understand anything. You're like, why would I even listen to that podcast? Because I don't get anything. But it's just your brain starts to build those connections that are new. And over time, it will make more sense. You pick up the tone, the speed, a lot of things, even though you don't understand. And just sitting and doing a few exercises here and there, it's good on paper, and we all know that what you do on paper doesn't necessarily translate into real life unless you try and do it. I'm kind of lucky that I started to learn before the ChatGPT period, and
Mm.
this can be a little bit of a polarized topic because you might tell me that ChatGPT will help you learn faster because you have a companion that can answer your questions in real time. But before, since I didn't have it, it forced me to really sit, paper, read out loud, do the boring things that we consider now boring. So sometimes speed is great, but sometimes it might affect your ability to learn properly because you always want the shortcuts, which can harm you in the long term.
Yes, so you have to allow for like it takes time and And one thing that you mentioned, I think it is fundamental. Like you need to give your brain some time to adapt. So at the beginning, you don't understand much, but then you
Mm,
start slowly, but surely you start building those new connections, which is essentially how we learn, really, in my opinion. So I like to imagine languages like drawers in our brain. So you need to create a new drawer where to put
mhm.
things, and that's how you learn a new language, in a way. So it takes time and it's not immediate, so we shouldn't get frustrated. It
I
should be
mean,
easy on ourselves.
exactly. We also those books, Learn Arabic in 5 days, or someone is trying to learn a language within 24 hours. It's just not feasible. You don't need to chase those dopamine kind of learning. You need to try slowly and learn a few sentences, speak to people. And one thing, a lot of people that learn a new language, they struggle with is confidence. And they tell you, unless it's perfect, I won't say anything unless I'm sure 100% that it's perfect, because they think that on the other side, the person is judging them. And I always tell people around me that no one judges you. They're even happy that you're trying to speak their language. So no one will ever judge you. Let's say I go to Brazil and I don't speak Portuguese, but I learned a few sentences and I'm trying. Even if I mess it up a little bit, people will still be happy to see a foreigner trying to speak their language. So they will support you and not judge you. So you need to remove that feeling of judgment from others because that's not true. And those that judge you, it's best to not talk to them anyway.
Why you waste your time? Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that is a great message. And it shows that you're open. You try to learn a few words, a few sentences even to go there and communicate, and which is invaluable, really. And especially if you're used to traveling a lot, learning a few words here and there of the local language is always a rewarding experience, in my opinion.
It
And
is.
people truly open up when you try to do that. They might make fun of you, which is fine, but make
In a
fun
good way.
in a nice and I don't know, open way. That's
Yeah.
that's how I like to see it anyway. Anas, I'd like to backtrack a little, right? So you said you moved 3 years ago, you moved to the UK, and everything was new in a way. New house, new language, new job, new country, new people. So, did you have any negative emotions associated with it?
Yes, I had a drop in confidence when I came in at the beginning. I found it difficult to go reach out to people. I'm usually quite an open person, so I don't mind talking to strangers and doing whatever I need to do. But when I came to the UK, I started to doubt if I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say is perfect, or if I'm phrasing it well, or if I'm gonna pronounce it well. So I refrained myself to talking too much unless I had to. And slowly, day after day, it started to get into me, and I started to kind of lose confidence. I remember after 2, 3 months, I wasn't feeling great about it. I remember read the book about confidence and things. I went to high level with it. But I pushed myself. I started to meet people. I subscribed to play tennis, football, which are two things that I love to do anyway. So I started to meet, talk to people, do activities, play games. I went on a few dates with girls at the time before meeting my partner. So again, it just run back my confidence that, okay, I did it before, I can do it here. It's just a matter of adapting. That adaptation was a little bit tricky, and some people, they end up closing themselves, not doing much, or only looking at their own people, for their own people, meaning that I'm in Cardiff, I will go and find Moroccans so that I can speak my own language. And I notice here that you see a lot of communities, Indians together, Nigerians together, Germans together, whatever. They're together because they feel safer. But I didn't leave my country and flew a few thousand miles away to meet my own people again. Otherwise, I would have stayed. I came here to be open to anything and everything. But it took me a few months. So it was a little bit of a struggle, to be honest, but fun
Yeah.
to too now.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, you have this sort of choice. You can be in your own bubble with people who speak your language, who are easier to talk to, or you can go there and face the new reality. I mean, it's great to be in the comforts of your own language, your own culture for a while, but at the same time, I always feel it's great to go out and explore. Because, as you said, you've traveled, you've moved there, so why not exploring the new culture, the new country? So yeah, it's not easy, and I can imagine at the beginning it feels awkward. You feel like you don't belong really, and it's like, okay, what am I supposed to say? I love the
Exactly.
way a lot of people mention like humor. Yeah, so you're there, people talk, and you don't really get the jokes, you don't get the humor. So
Yeah.
that is frustrating. And it was for me at the beginning anyway, the first time I moved to Ireland, people were
Mm.
talking and I couldn't really get. Everybody
Exactly.
was laughing, and then you like either pretend you understand and laugh along, or you sit there staring awkwardly at people. Yeah, but sure. And also, you mentioned another great thing, which is sports. Again, a lot of friends, a lot of people started connecting through sports. So playing five-a-side football is the best way to go there and meet people. Also, career-wise, it helps, to when you meet people who are maybe like in a different company or they have a good position. You really connect through sports, especially football. I think
Hmm.
so. Yeah, it's great that you mentioned it. I've heard it before, and I'm a terrible player, so I couldn't ever ever use that. But
Yeah, I mean, whatever activity you enjoy, football is just one, and it's easy in the UK. A lot of people play football. But it could be anything. As I mentioned, tennis, it could be rugby, whatever. Even I'm sure you can find people that want to play snooker and darts, and there's people that want to do anything and everything. So, one thing that because I know many people that l- went from Morocco abroad, whether it's in Europe, in the UK, in the US, and I've seen these two kind of people. One that went and just got along and mixed up with people and succeeded ultimately in their journey abroad. Depending on how you define success, but I mean they're good there, they have a good job, and and others that couldn't 1, 2 years and they couldn't, and they went back to Morocco. So those that couldn't, two things that I noticed. The first one is they dropped their routine. So let's say they used to play football and do specific things. When they went to the UK or whatever country, they just dropped those. They thought that they couldn't replicate what they had. That's one thing. And the second one, they didn't mix up with people. They looked at their own people. And therefore, it's like they've been in Morocco all along, even though they're in the UK, they're meeting Moroccans, 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 and they don't feel like they're changing anything. So for people that feel like they're home birds, they're attached to their food, they're attached to their own people, they don't want to mess up with their routine. Maybe going abroad is not meant for you necessarily. Traveling, yes, but I mean living abroad. I have my older sister, she's like this. She was like, I could never do what you're doing because I love being close to mom. I love having my own things, and that's fair enough. But if you're a little bit adventurous and you're willing to try something new, and mix up with people, especially, otherwise you'll feel lonely all the time, then go for it. Why not? Especially if you're young, you have nothing to lose. You go try something new, and if you don't like it, then you can come back.
I just love the optimism there. It's refreshing. It's refreshing to hear a younger perspective, to be honest with you. There's a lot of negative feelings around, so this is what we need to hear, I believe. Now, Anis, if you had to identify, so we spoke about some negative aspects and then your, let's say, the way you are happier today with your new life and building up a career in the UK. So if you had to identify one single turning point, right, in your history there, what was it?
Turning points. Uh, I think meeting my girlfriend, it was a big one. It gave me confidence in a few things. First is to speak to someone often. being with her, traveling with her, I discovered more of the country. So I got to know what the UK is. I visited many countries within 3 years. I think I visited more than UK people themselves sometimes. What I tell them when I've been there, they were like, even I haven't been to all those places. And that's all because of her, because she loves to travel and show me things around, and especially having someone to talk to and deeply understanding the culture, her family, her parents. I think that was the major boost. And after that, I would say my first job as well gave me confidence that I am good at what I do and I could do well, even in a different environment with my own culture, with my own way of thinking. So I would say these two: my girlfriend first, and my job second.
Great. Love and career. That's a great combination. Absolutely. Yeah, it's just that love can be valuable from different aspects, of course. Yeah,
Yes.
and that's great. I love the romantic aspects as well, which is again really extremely valuable, and
It is.
it does help for sure. Anas, we are towards the end of our chat, right? So I usually end by asking for recommendations. So really, imagine, I mean, we've already spoken about few ideas. We've already mentioned a few ideas, but like recommendations for people who want to have an international experience. Again, not necessarily traveling and moving abroad, but also having an international experience from their home. So, really, what would you tell them? Like people who want to go international, what would you tell them?
I mean, both perspectives are different. If you want to go international from your place, from your own country, that's very doable. You can connect with people, communicate with people via social media. I have my younger sister. She used to speak to people in Hawaii by night, so it's unlimited what you can do nowadays, as long as you're open and you're in there and you're sharing some content. Since I've been sharing content on YouTube and LinkedIn for the past 1.5 year, 2 years, I've spoken to people all over the world. I just had a chat a few days ago with a nice guy from Indonesia. Just before that, in the US, another one in the UK. It's unlimited, and this opens your brain to new opportunities, and you feel like you're not just stuck in your own country. You can do more. You can speak to more people and get yourself a very diverse set of friends. But if you want to work, as I do now with the Swedish company, I work as a freelancer, and you can find freelance platforms where you can be hired by anyone from anywhere in the world, as long as you have a skill set and you're able to perform and do something that solves a specific problem. You can work with people like myself from Sweden, being based in the UK, have most of my friends in Morocco. You can mix and match things, and that's just the way it is. But on the other hand, if you decide to move out, physically move out, which I believe it's a great experience, whatever it is. I had an experience going to Russia for 1 year, which didn't go as great as the UK. But it's still an experience, though. You get to meet people, try a few things, new food, new drinks, Russia. So I would say the fun of it is great. The risks, there are always risks, whether you're static or in motion. You choose your own risks. People tell me, but I'm gonna risk maybe 2 years, but who guarantees that in your own countries in the next 2 years everything will be perfect? That there are no guarantees. It's just that fear of facing or leaving your comfort zone that scares you. But that's the same feeling as when you start a business or when you start a podcast or a YouTube channel. It's just one that involves you leaving your own country that makes it a little bit daunting. But honestly, I wouldn't trade for anything else. My experience in the UK made me a better person. I'm more confident. I've got more opportunities. And even if I end up leaving this country for whatever reason, at some point, it'll be a great memory that I will always keep. So whichever you choose, just be open. Sometimes it's good to leave your comfort zone and speak to different people from different cultures, because it shows you a lot about who you are as well. When you're not always surrounded by the same people, the same places, the same coffee shops, the same food, you end up discovering new things, and maybe you find something very interesting there.
Amazing. Yes. Yes.
Mm.
Yes, couldn't agree more, of course. And one thing that I particularly love is this idea of risks. So you have risks, whichever way you decide to go, really.
Mm.
Stay in the comforts of your own home or job or routine. There are risks there because nobody guarantees that things are going to stay like that forever.
Mhm.
Go move abroad or start a new career, there are risks. It's just if you have I don't know, an optimistic approach to risks, I think that's then you're going to make the right decision. So
Yeah.
that's probably one key takeaway from our chat, I'd say.
Yeah, it's something that is you only understand when you take on a little bit of action. If you build a business once or start a podcast and you try things, you understand that you have to take on those risks in order to achieve something greater. You can't just come and it's not given to you. Nothing is given to you. A great relationship is not given to you. A great job is not given to you. A great business. So risks are there. It's up to you to choose which ones you want to take. And again, um, when I speak to my friends about going abroad and things, they think that's the best solution. It's clearly not. It's just one of those that maybe push you a little bit to the limit, and therefore you end up improving more and growing faster. Because when you stay home and you have everything done for you, in most cases, the percentage of growth is minimal, but when you're just by yourself, you do everything by yourself. So the percentage of growth is unlimited. It can go as high as you are and willing to be, unless obviously you fall into bad habits, bad routines.
Yeah.
So that's also something that you need to be able to control.
Yes, you ultimately you're in control anyway. So whatever you decide to do, you are in control. You should be in control.
Yes.
Wow. Yes, that's I love this key message. So thanks very much for sharing it, Anas.
Problem.
Um, so again, it's been a pleasure having you here, Anas, and thank you very much for sharing a bit of your story, a bit of your ideas, and like the main thing, a bit of your optimism, which is something that I truly appreciate. So thank you very much.
Thank you for inviting me. It's been a
Great.
pleasure.
Thank you. And everybody, thank you very much for sticking around, for watching or listening, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.